Yes, today's points we are going to look at the tasting the tasting the tasting for non stationary tea via DK Fuller. DK Fuller tastes, but in theories we know that today's thing that is globally changing with the high volatility, and we want to look at whether it can be stable. We're going to start by XT stand for the global oil prices, so which is depending on any intercepts plus row global price oil of yesterday plus any external shocks. It can be news on the markets. It can be geopolitical tension, can be sentiment, and it can also be supply. So we assume all these are normally distributed, normally distributed with independently identically distributed, where we just assume that its mean is constant and this standard deviation is a sigma or two. So to just put some points, we're looking at our xt minus one. Its role how is affecting the today's global prices, and our h9 will be saying that our role should be equal to 1. So, and our sales will be suffering from the units roots. Conversely, for the alternative, it will be our rho, which is less than 1, and no units roots, which is stationary, actually. But to make it good, we can just say our today's price of oil deduct by yesterday price. It will give us the same intercepts plus the change to be row xt negative 1 yesterday price minus to yesterday price plus the epsilon. This in layman terms, it will be, in a simple way, this will be a change in xt, and here it will be equal to rho plus my information here. It will be about to look at the row which is starting -1, because there is a common factor. The common factor is this one. That's why we just make a common factor with xt1, so the yesterday price plus our shops, which is normalized identity, independent and identically distributed with a mean and sigma, which is stable. Literally, at least we can also write in another way the change in rubber price of oil will depend on its intercept plus a delta to replace this rho minus 1 xt negative 1 plus xt. So to make it easier for us to understand, this formula will stand for this formula, the first formula. The first formula will stand for the Dickey Fuller. But when we just make a change, this format, which is coming from here, which is the second equation, will be augmented. Augmented Dickey Fuller. So the augmented Dickey Fuller, it's a change in Dickey Fuller. It's a change that happened in the Dickey Fuller. So that's why both are the same. And what is the best for you? It's up to you to choose the best to choose. And the hypothesis for the augmented Dickey Fuller, the Dickey Fuller will be this one. The hypothesis for the augmented, it will be H09 hypothesis will be that my delta should be equal to 0 and my alternative should be equal to, or should be less than 0. So which means here there is no stationary presence of unit roots. Here there is a stationary presence of the unit. There is no unit roots. When we look at on the graphical way using the so you using the plots, we can look at the AR. So AR stands for the autoregressive moving average, but in sense of looking at the stationarity versus non-stationary. It will be that we assume our global price XT today's when it is stationary, the way it's move like with a point maybe 0 or even 2, things will keep going ups and downs, going up and down, go up and down, go up and down. But at least the rho will not exceed, can be 0.7, will not exceed, will be still less than 1. But for the case of our xt, which is not stationary, or the global price which is not stationary, sometimes you see something weird like this one, going down, then up, and again looking at something with the same points, but going down and up, down. So when you want to look at the mean, you will not find any mean there for our xt. So the rho here will be equal to 1. In mathematical form, which will be my X or my global price today with my row yesterday global price of oil with some stroke which is normalized. The row here will be less than equal to 1, and then since that we assume other factors remain constant, ID will mean equal to 0 and standard deviation is equal to 7. Whereas here for stationary, my XT or global price of wheat today is depending on global price of yesterday, but with no stable, because the row here it's almost equal to 1. That's okay.